History is often taught as a series of accidents, things that just happened times to times people. But Black American history didn't start with a sigh. It started with a struggle, and it built a nation. From the moment the first ships docked, a line was drawn. Not a line of submission, but an unbroken line of resistance, community, and self-determination. Let's clock the timeline and look at the sparks that refused to be put out in the dark. 1619, Point Comfort, Virginia. The arrival of more than 20 enslaved Africans. This was the blueprint of a brutal economic system designed to strip humanity away. The system was set, but right alongside it, the resistance was born. Fast forward a century, the colonies are screaming for freedom from the British Crown. 1770, Crispus Attucks, a free black sailor of African and native descent, steps to the front line of protest. When British soldiers fire into the crowd at the Boston Massacre, Attucks is the very first to bleed and die for American independence. Think about the irony and the power. The first person to die for the promise of American liberty was a black man who the nation's laws didn't even recognize as fully human. While the smoke of the Revolutionary War cleared, Black Americans knew they couldn't wait for freedom to be handed down. They had to organize it. In 1787, Prince Hall and his contemporaries found the first African Masonic lodge in Boston. This wasn't just a social club, it was a sanctuary. It was a blueprint for black self-governance, community leadership, and mutual aid. They built schools, funded safe spaces, and established a network of security when the state offered none. Before the U.S. Constitution was even fully ratified, Black Americans were already building the parallel institutions that would anchor the fight for equality for generations to come. But the pressure inside the system of slavery was reaching a boiling point. The narrative of the content slave was a lie, and in 1831, that lie was shattered completely. Nat Turner, an enslaved preacher in Virginia, claimed a vision of spiritual warfare and led the most historic, fierce slave rebellion in American history. For several intense days, Turner and his followers disrupted the entire plantation system, striking absolute terror into the hearts of enslavers across the South. The rebellion was suppressed with brutal force, and the laws grew harsher, but the message was absolute. Freedom would be sought by any means necessary. The silence was broken forever. 18 years later, in 1849, a woman named Araminta Ross shatters her own shackles, renames herself Harriet Tubman, and escapes the jaws of Maryland slavery. But escaping wasn't enough. Walking by the light of the North Star, she returns to enemy territory over and over again as the ultimate conductor of the Underground Railroad, liberating hundreds of souls. She never lost a passenger. Her defiance laid the groundwork for the ultimate clash. By 1863, midway through a bloody civil war, the ink finally met the paper. President Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation. It wasn't just a moral document. It was a strategic pivot that allowed over 180,000 black soldiers to lace up their boots, pick up rifles, and fight directly for their own liberation. 1865. The smoke of the Civil War clears. The Union is preserved, and the 13th Amendment is officially ratified, abolishing the legal institution of chattel slavery across the United States. Millions of people were suddenly, legally, free. It was the end of a brutal, century-long chapter of state-sanctioned human bondage. But as the chains fell to the dirt, everyone knew. The physical shackles were broken, but the true, long march for systemic equality and real justice was only just getting started. History isn't just a collection of old photos and dead dates behind us. It's a living blueprint moving through us right now. If you want to keep tracking the stories, the music, and the moments that shaped our world, make sure to hit that subscribe and follow button. This is History in Motion. See you on the next timeline.